Hemen vakit kaybetmiyoruz ve birincilerin
You
surlarına
reach a large
dayanıyoruz.
frozen lake surrounded by a thick pine forest. The quickest way would be to walk straight over the ice, but you don't know how stable it is. The detour through the forest would be safer, but would also take much longer.
Hadi. Orman burası. Bu da buz tutmuş göl. Yürü abi gölün üstünden ya.
You decide to take the quicker route and walk directly across the frozen lake. The ice carries your weight and you make good progress at first. But after
Öldük
about
mü?
a third of the way, the ice begins to rumble and some cracks begin to form.
Let me go ahead. I am the lightest and can search for a safe route.
Hadi lan
She
normale.
may be light, but I know all there is to know about ice. There are frozen lakes that we cross up in the Brown Range during winter. Let me go ahead. I don't fancy falling through the ice on account of some long un.
Sana
I
güvenir
can't
miyim lan
vouch for
ben?
Goimgar, but it's true that the lakes in the Brown Range often freeze over in winter. We always played on the ice as children.
Narmora. Goimgar'a güvenim olmaz. Kefildeysen de konuşma kızım şimdi yani.
Namora takes over guiding the group, and several times you change direction on the advice of the actress. When you've almost reached the other side, Namora avoids some cracks with nimble feet and warns you to stay where you are. But too late.
Hain Narmora, öldürdün bizi be.
Goimgar has fallen through the ice and is being pulled down by his armor. You fall flat onto your stomach and crawl towards him. Namora leaps fleet-footed like an elf to the edge of the hole, and together you manage to pull
Gebersin
the
Goimgar,
gem
hiç
cutter
umurumda
from the
değil.
ice. Goimgar is shivering all over.
Damn it! I knew we shouldn't have let the Lungan lead us. Oh, just because she can cross the ice doesn't mean a dwarf can too.
You hurry to finally reach the bank and
Neyse,
then light a
kurtulduk.
fire so that
Goimgar
Goimgar can
üşüdü
warm
ama
up.
olsun. Problem değil.
While you rest under a ledge at noon, Rodario and Fergus decide to go ice fishing, and the dwarves immediately pronounce their opposition.
Ice and water are both treacherous. They entice you to them. Before you know it, you disappear into them forever.
Like in a marriage, you mean? At first the woman entices you, but if you stay in her arms like a good boy, the good life is over all too quickly.
Uzman konuştu.
The good life, in which you go behind the backs of other men, get beaten up, and one day die painfully of a sexually transmitted disease.
All slander, my dear.
Rodario bares his teeth for a moment and then follows Fergus to the shore.
He reminds me of a billy goat we used to have. Mounted everything that got in its way. One day, he mounted a goat that was standing too close to a cliff. The two of them fell down the cliff in the best of spirits.
Harbi komik hikayemiş. Ne altlar varsa sende var zaten. Alttan gidiyoruz. Uzun yolu ne yapayım ben? O kadar buzun
It
üstüne
snows
yürümüşüm.
all day and the cold
Bu oyun
wind continues to get
cücelerin
stronger.
hikayesi.
The dwarves trudge
Kara
stubbornly on,
elfler
but at some point
insanların ve
Fergus
cücelerin
can
yaşadığı
take it no
yere
longer.
Oh, we are
karanlık getirdiği
walking
için
right into the eye of a
biz de
blizzard. We have snowstorms in the Brown Range
Tungdil
too.
ve arkadaşlar
If you get
olarak
caught in a storm while hunting,
eski
you simply wait
günlerimize
it out in a snow cave.
kavuşmaya çalışıyoruz.
The blizzard will be on us
Kara elfi
before we
yenmeye
can build a
çalışıyoruz.
snow cave. We should look for a sheltered
Bu
spot
süreçte tüm
and light a
cüce
fire.
haritasını dolaşıp nereden ne yapabiliriz onu araştırmaya çalışıyoruz. Korunaklı bir yer bulup ateş yakmanız. Korunmak için bir kar mağarası. Kendinize çekil düzen veri yolumuza devam edin. Korunaklı bir yer bulup ateş. Olur.
Instead of looking for a shelter, you simply go to some crags nearby and shovel up some snow on the sides to make a windbreak. You feel better almost as soon as you leave the biting wind. Fergus lights an alchemic fire, and the closeness of your companions ensures a reasonably warm night. By the next morning, the blizzard has
Güzel,
blown
Allah'tan
over,
yemeğim
and
var
you set
yani.
off on your way again.
Yoksa bekleyemezdik bu kadar. Devam. Karın
Your
içinden
path leads
geçeceğiz.
you over a snowy, hilly plain, and as you scale a particularly steep hill, you falter. A crevasse opens out in front of you. You look around, but there isn't any point nearby where you could cross over the gap.
Nereden gideceğiz? Yarığı geçmenin bir yolunu
You
buldum.
follow the course of the crevasse. After an hour, the end of the crevasse is still not in sight. However,
Mağara
you
varsa
do
kesin
find
orada
a
bir
cave
tehlike de
that
vardır.
slopes down softly parallel to the crevasse.
Mağarayı
You are
keşfet.
afraid that you might get lost in the ice cave and freeze to death in misery.
Aha,
But
ne bulduk?
ultimately, your curiosity is rewarded. You find after an hour's
Büyük bir oda
search a
mı?
winding passage that leads you to a large chamber. You walk ahead with your torch outstretched and see a shadow in the ice. You step backwards in shock as you realize that it's the body of a frozen human. Something glittering in the floor grabs Goimgar's attention.
Altın
An
kalkan.
ornamented gold shield. Part of it is frozen into the ice, but it should be easy to free.
Pure gold! This thing must be worth quite a bit, though it would be completely useless in a fight.
Wouldn't that be like tomb raiding?
Your companion doesn't answer.
Niye cevap versin ki? Al al.
You allow Goimgar to free the shield from its icy prison. After you've had a look around the rest of the chamber and taken a short break, you look for a way back up to the
Devam
surface.
edelim yolumuza.
You are able to continue on your way without any further delay.
Az kaldı. 2 çubuk kaldı. Son karlı yol. Neymiş bu? Bakalım bir ona. Envanter. Oo, 500 altın. Satarız. Temiz geçtik. Sıkıntı yok. Birincil kalesinin suruna sonunda gelebildik. Bakalım kimler çıkacak buradan.
You finally arrive at the entrance to a valley that curves its way towards Ironhald, the firstling stronghold.
Güzel yapmışlar burayı. Ne o? Güneş.
By Vracus, we've done it!
Allah, vuruldu lan. Ana!
Get down!
Pusuya düşürüldük. Allah kahretsin. Elf geldi. Ve bizim hain büyücü de geldi.
I can't maintain the spell for long.
Put him on Goimgar's shield. To the gate. Quick!
Vuruldu mu bu oyundan? En sevdiğim cüce karakter vuruldu ya. Al onunla, taşı onunla, aferin sana. Çakma serseyi. İnşallah ölmez bu oyundan.
As you approach the first gate, you see guards on the battlements. You call as you run.
By Vracus, we are dwarves of the kingdoms of the secondlings and the fourthlings. Open the gate!
Their leader gives orders that you cannot hear, but moments later, the gate opens up for you.
Report back. Man the walls and the defences.
The guards follow the orders immediately.
Who are you that lead the Alpha to our door?
How dare you speak to us like that? Dwarf who seems to have no name?
Boendal steps forward before you can stop him.
I am Boendal Doubleblade, a child of the smith of Burrowin folk. And that is my brother Boendal, who needs a healer immediately.
The commander pulls down his scarf, and his face leaves you speechless.
Only a dwarf could make such a fuss. Balanda Steelfinger. I protect the main gate of the firstlings. Therefore it is my duty to regard all guests precisely before I invite them in.
But you were a woman.
You have a keen eye, Boendal Doubleblade.
The tender features and soft fluff leave no room for doubt. A female dwarf is the commander of the guard. She gives orders for the injured Boendal to be taken care of.
Üzülürüm
Four
Boendal
dwarves
ölürse ya.
pick him up on his shield, and Boendal follows them.
Stay with your brother. I will bring the rest of you to Queen Zamtis, where you can explain what you're doing here.
Açıklayalım. Sinthoras yine yapacağını yaptı. Hain Sinthoras. Ama intikamımı alacağım. Ayrım oldu. Müzikler güzel. Cüceler yapmış be. Şu ihtişam var. Kendi kendine giden asansör. Atlamadın mı gidiyorsun. Nereye gittiğini kimse bilmiyor.
Come closer and be welcome to the kingdom of the firstlings.
I am Tungdil Goldhand of the Fourthling Kingdom.
You introduce your companions one by one, not forgetting to mention the twins and the Mager too. You then explain the reason for your visit. You report on the advance of the Perish land, the death of the Magi, and the dispute about the next High King. The dark brown eyes of the Queen fix on you for a moment before she speaks.
What you report sounds very serious, Tungdil. You can be sure of the support of the
Teşekkürler
firstlings.
kraliçe.
How may we assist you?
Bakalım nasıl yardımcı olacaksın. Gri sıra daha gitmiyoruz. Bu niye buraya geldi ki? Beşinciler de mi varmış? Biz keskin ateşi dövmemiz lazım. Onu bana dövdür. Sinthoras artık
There
tehdit
is
olmaktan
only
çıkacak.
one way to defeat Nodon. Keen fire. To forge it, we need the best smith your kingdom has to offer. Help us, and thus help your kingdom, my queen.
The Queen considers, then nods.
So be it. Could there ever be a better time to revive the old commonality of the kingdoms? Balandis here is not only my best warrior, she is also my best smith. She will accompany you.
Hangisi? Şu
Your
mu?
eyes fall upon Balandis, and you notice the blood rushing to your cheeks.
I will do my best. You can
Ah,
trust in my
buymuş.
axe and my hammer.
We must continue on our journey to the Fifthlings in the Grey Range.
Then I will show you the entrance to the tunnels. You will be in the Perish land within a few orbits.
You know the tunnels, but still the Firstlings live in seclusion.
Our isolation was self-imposed. My mother knew that the other kingdoms would not simply accept her as the queen. She wanted to give them time to get used to it.
Doğru. Heyet
Your
yolda.
Highness, in the name of the Council of the Kingdoms, I request that you send a delegation to the Blue Range to take part in the discussions. We all have a common enemy.
There has never been any enmity between my kingdom and the others. It was more neglected friendship and habit that has made us strangers to one another. As soon as you set off for the Grey Range, we will head east to see our brothers and sisters again. I will have rooms prepared for you and your companions so that you can rest. It has been some time since we have had guests, but we still know what hospitality means. Come to me
Buraya
when you are
hangi
ready to
akıllı gelir
depart.
ki zaten? Ne yapacağız şimdi? Kıza mı gideceğiz? Gidelim. Balandis.
Hello.
Hello.
What is it, Tungdil?
Ne var tankta ya?
It would seem that a lot of important positions are occupied by female dwarves in the Firstling Kingdom.
Is it not common where you come from that men and women share the duties?
Of course. Among the humans and the secondlings, the women help out in the house so that the men have time for their duties. That's how it is written in the books, too.
Here, posts are assigned according to the skills of the applicant, not gender. It's only natural that the most important posts are occupied by women.
She winks at you and gives you a knowing glance, although the whole thing still befuddles you.
What is it like living with the Firstlings? I haven't seen much yet, but many things seem to be different to life with the Secondlings in Ogre's Death.
I can't make any real comparisons either. I grew up here and have never left our kingdom. I can hardly wait to see the halls of the Fifthlings. They were the best smiths before we took on the mantle.
Don't expect too much. Their halls have been in the hands of the enemy for over 1,000 cycles.
I read that the orcs avoid the stronghold, as if there were a curse on it.
Even reading doesn't seem to be frowned upon among the firstlings. You feel at home here. But that isn't
Yoksa bizim
only
hakiki
down to
yerimiz
the
burası
books.
mı?
See you later.
See you later. Su çarkı mı?
You guess that this water powers all the machines in the underground city. A masterpiece of engineering.
Burada bir şeyler mi var? Yok. Aha bu kim? Andokai. Aa bizim büyücü. Yaralanmış mı teneke kutu?
Ah, Tungdil. I was wondering when you would pay me a visit.
I thank you and Djerun. You appeared at the right moment. May I, ask why?
It was down to you. Your speech about the responsibility I owe to my realm. Yolumdan was a good teacher.
Her face darkens when she thinks of her old companion.
There are 100 reasons that Nodon deserves to die. That is why I went back to the Secondlings and took another look through the books. I discovered a passage that said Keenfire can only take its effect against evil when it is wielded by a foe of the Undergrounders.
A foe of the Undergrounders? It's going to be difficult to persuade Nork to help us.
I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I think I might have an answer to the problem. The Alpha are also your foes, aren't they?
Ork olarak kimi tanıyorsun? Ne oldu?
Half human, half elf. My mother bequeathed me her gifts and her weapons. I got very little from my father, but his eyes are an advantage.
Giralda Narmora değil mi bu ya? Giralda nereden çıktı? Ha bu başkası. Giralda diğer kız. Yeraltıcıların düşmanı. Yo hemen vermem Narmora'ya o kılıcı. Keskin ateş. Dur bir. Önce bir soruşturalım.
You're sure that only a foe of the Undergrounders can use Keenfire?
Anyone can use it like a normal axe, but only a foe of the Undergrounders can command its magical powers. I don't know much about her, but a half-elf should pass as a foe of all dwarves.
Ya harbi düşmansa? Ya aldığı gibi kılıcı keserse bizi?
We should keep your parentage secret, especially from Geralda.
I'm in no doubt that the Alpha did terrible things to her. And I'm not keen on letting her kill me.
If what Namora told me earlier is true, this Geralda could be just as great a danger as Nodon. She could take control of generals or kings, maybe even me.
You are aware of the danger, but you don't have the energy to think about it right now. You push the problem aside.
Then that's agreed. We will keep Namora's secret to ourselves.
Evet kendimizi saklayalım da şu keskin ateşi keşke vermeme seçeneği olsa yani. Ben istemiyorum vermek. Niye zorlanıyorum?
You will wield Keenfire in the battle against Nodon. But we're going to have to make it first.
You said it.
The actress takes her leave with a little nod.
Djerun'dan ne haber? Büyük güçleri ne durumda? Kara elf nasıl oldu? Senin büyük kalkanı yok evinde. Dur bakalım Djerun'la soralım. Teneke yorulmuş.
He's doing well. He should be back to full strength after some rest.
You still don't know what kind of being is hidden under the armor. But the Mager's powers seem to have done a good job.
The firstlings have offered to improve his armor. And when one of the best smiths in Girdlegard offers something like that, you should definitely take them up on it.
Yorgun
How
duruma
are you in your
düşmüşsün.
powers? You look a little exhausted.
I won't lie to you. It has already been too long since I was in a place where I can draw new strength. My power is trickling away like water from a leaky pipe.
Is that perhaps a way to weaken Nodon?
No, I wouldn't count on that. Even if we could keep him away from the magical realms, the being that lives within him has given him unknown powers.
Kara elflere gitti.
How was Sinthoras able to overcome your shield? Can Alfar use magic?
No, certainly not. I don't know much about their people, but I think they have innate powers. Conjuring darkness, extinguishing fire, changing dreams. Little things that fill humans with fear and ensure the potency of terrifying legends about their people. Sinthoras used a trick, not a spell. We killed 2 Alfar near Sovereignstone. They had crystals on them which they had received from Nodon to protect them from the spells of the Magi. He must have used a stone like that.
Take some rest. And I hope you'll still be here at dawn.
Bunu iyi
The
dedim
Mager
bak.
gives you a reproachful look.
Don't worry. We'll stand by you until this
Onu
expedition has
doyuracak 10
reached its
tane boğaz
destination.
oldu şimdi.
It feels
Kendini de
good having the
sayarsak
Mager and her
11.
companion at your
Öyle
side
bir yemek
again.
stoğum yok ama. O ne olacak? Nereye gideceğiz? Buraya gidiliyor mu? Çekil. Çekil. Yok, gidilmiyor. Zaten gidecek bir yer yokmuş orada. Bundan devam edelim. Neye bakacağım? Ha, boşluğa bak. Bakalım.
The second dwarf stronghold you have ever seen also impresses you greatly. The firstling stronghold is very different to Ogre's death, but you'd rather not say which you prefer.
Bir fotoğraf alınır. Tam anlamadık ama olsun. Keşke bir ekleme süresi olsaydı. Sohbetçi cüceler. Burada da bir sohbet var. Burada da var. Hasta olmuş, hapşuruyor. Hasta odası. Sanırım şu anda hasta odasına gideceğiz. Başka girecek bir yer yok. Gidelim bakalım. Boendal'a ne olmuş? Tabi öncesinde Furgas ve Rodario ile de konuşalım.
It is simply legendary. No, it is mythical. We definitely need a large theatre so we can convey the impression of this grandeur to the spectators.
It's going to be difficult, but we'll manage it. But it will be more expensive.
It would appear you like it here.
Like it? It is fabulous. I almost feel like giving up. Not even the best of illusions could possibly imitate this. But say, what brings you to us, Tungdil?
Narmora bir melez karar. Narmora dur onun girme şimdi. PS planların.
And how was your new play coming along?
Good, very good.
Very
the band of adventurers who set off to defeat Nodon, aided by the Queen of the Dwarves from the Kingdom of the Firstlings. It's going to be a real challenge to present this story in all its greatness.
Do you already have a title?
I haven't decided for sure yet, but at the moment I'm thinking along the lines of the heroic dwarves and their loyal companions who opposed Nodon despite all the challenges to destroy him and save Girdlegard.
Every step from here on is more dangerous than the last. Are you sure you want to continue on our journey with us?
Vallahi bizi buraya getiren o da arıyordu. Bence
every
devam
story
etmeliyiz
needs an
yolumuza.
end. What kind of play would it be without a third act?
Doğru dedin. Üçüncü perdesiz
There is
oyun
no
olur.
way I'm going to let Namora ride into battle on her own. I will be there to assist her.
Why didn't
Anlat
you say
bakayım
that
Narmora
Namora is
neciymiş?
half elf?
If our spectators knew, they would run away screaming. So I'm sure you'll understand that we couldn't tell a group of armed dwarves either.
You have to admit that you don't know how you would have reacted if Namora had revealed herself in Mifadania. Fear and hatred of the Alpha is deeply rooted.
Bu doğru.
You already know her, Tungdil. She has skills, but her lineage does not determine how she thinks and acts. She is the love of my life, and I would go crazy if I were to lose her.
I must go. Rest now.
Rest? Haven't you seen? There are machines that keep the whole city alive.
Git görürüz.
I
Ben de
must
film
take a
ekliyorum
look.
burada. Git gör. Kim tutuyor seni? Hadi girelim hasta odasına. Ne oldu lan? Öldü mü?
Tungdil.
Önce durumunu sor. Ne hemen yola devam edemeyiz?
How is he?
He's lost a hell of a lot of blood.
The crazy glint in Boendal's eyes has given way to serious concern.
I'm doing fine.
You must rest, brother. Stay on your back so the wounds can heal. Fortunately, he hasn't lost his pig-headedness. As long as he has that, he'll come through.
Boendal forces a grin, but you can imagine what he's really thinking and feeling.
Andokai'ye gidelim. Büyücü.
I thought Andokai was going to look after him. Didn't her magic help?
We don't want her help. Magic is no use. And we certainly don't want anything to do with Samerson.
Niye?
You know there is no point arguing with the twins about magic. There is too much of a fine line between conviction and stubbornness.
O da doğru.
Boendal'ı would rather die than be healed by the Mager.
We'll have to go on without him. He won't manage more than 100 paces without dropping down dead the stake.
Üzücü oldu bu ya. Şov yapacaktık Boendal'la.
I'll manage, scholar. Just give me 2 orbits, then I'll be fine. It's just a scratch.
Boendal'ı tries to stand up, but he doesn't have the strength. You shake your head.
Stay here and recover, Boendal'ı. We'll meet you again in time for the big battle against Nodon. You have done your bit.
But where one of us is, the other is too. It is the greatest deed that has ever been carried out by our people. Oh. It would seem you are right, scholar.
We'll be separated for the first time in our lives. I will miss you by my side in battle. The first 100 runts will be for you.
You will have to protect him and the others on your own now, brother. Don't take on too much, and rein in your frenzy. You must control your anger better than you usually do. Promise me.
I promise.
Tears run down the bearded cheeks of the two twins. They have never had to part like this before.
Üzüldüm. Boendal'sız bir macera düşünemiyorum. Yapacak bir şey kaldı mı bakalım. Kör muhafız. Bunu halledeceğiz. Şu anda yapacak bir şey kalmadı. Ben de bir dinlensem fena olmazdı hani. Nerede benim yatak odam? Burası açılmış mı? Bir de kime gideceğiz bu saatten sonra? Sen ne yapıyorsun ya? Anladım. Bu da aynısını yapıyor. Heh, tat odasına girelim.
I've gathered all of the metal we need for Keenfire. I'm ready to depart.
You nod and then look her solemnly in the eyes.
Once we set off, stay in the background, keep out of fights, and avoid all
Neyse,
danger.
Boendal gitti. Daha
The
güçlüsü
female
geldi.
dwarf's expression darkens.
Shall we
yemek
engage in a
yedirtmez o
trial
ayrı ama-
fight, Mr. Dwarf?
No, Bifracus. No, I know that female dwarves can fight. It's because of the axe. You're the only one who can forge it. If something happens to you, we won't be able to stop Nodon.
The face of the smith relaxes, and then a smile appears on her lips.
I can look after myself.
Eminim bakarsın zaten. Evet.
Greetings, Queen Zamtis.
The queen bows her head slightly, prompting you to speak.
Please excuse me
Konulardan
for
öyle bir
asking,
soru vermiş.
Your
Ben de bir
Highness,
sorayım en azından.
how is it that a queen is sitting on the firstling throne?
The queen smiles. She has clearly been expecting the question.
It began with an argument. My father valued my mother's advice, but disputed her ability to lead the kingdom. This frustrated her, and she demanded the chance to prove the contrary. In the end, they agreed that my mother would govern the firstlings for 14 orbits. During this time, there was an attack by trolls, and my mother put them to flight with cunning and bravery. When my father demanded the throne again, she defied him, and the clans followed her. The other kingdoms were appalled and refused to receive my mother, but our kingdom saw that she was a good queen. And when she died 230 cycles ago, the people demanded that I should follow her onto the throne.
Ne var halletmem gereken bir şey? Yok değil mi? Devam.
Is everything
Yolculuk.
ready for our journey to the kingdom of the Fifthlings?
Başlayabilir. Bir tek
We have
Giralda'yla
provided
konuşalım.
wagons for
Onları
you and your
bilmiyorum ben.
companions. Are your preparations complete?
Evet, 5. doğru yola çıkalım.
We are ready.
The Queen nods slowly.
Rally your companions. I will march east with my host, but don't be misled.
Yemek var mı
The
yemek?
fate of the perished land is in your hands, not mine. May you succeed and return unhurt. Vrakas be with you.
Beşincilere doğru yolculuğumuz başlasın. Aç ve susuz bir şekilde.
The plains of Tubain are the most fertile in Girdlegard, and rightly give the kingdom its nickname of the breadbasket. The east of the land has been in revolt since the perished land advanced, and the peace seems to have broken in the heartland too, as a group of strangers crawl out of a hole in the ground.
Why don't we just look for a tunnel that hasn't collapsed?
And what if we don't find one? If we're overground, we at least know that there's a way, even if it's dangerous. Let's go.
Neredeyiz? Açığa çıktık. Artık buradaki görevde yalan oldu. Çiftçilerle diğer şeyin görevi. Tekrar ortaya geldik. Buradan nereye gitmem isteniyor benim? Beşincillerin kalesine. Kaç günlük yolumuz var? Minimum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Aslında direkt gitsem olur. Ama önümde bir han gibi bir yer var. Oraya girip erzak almak zorundayım. Ve bunlar da büyük ihtimalle ork kampları mı? Ona benzer bir şeyler. Bakalım bu bölüm sonunda neler olacak? Yeni bölümde bizi neler bekliyor?